Ever since I got my first professional drone, I have enjoyed filming this cruise ship, even before they were rebranded. When I found out that the ship would be heading into dry dock for maintenance on May 21st, 2023, I decided to go out and film its last departure, before it would disappear for 2 weeks. But this time, however, trouble was on the horizon. So what happened? Let's go back and find out. As you probably saw me do in a previous video, I parked my SUV at this plaza on Singer Island. Then I rode my mountain bike down to the inlet. While I waited for the ship to depart, I killed time by filming some sharks that were swimming near to the Palm Beach inlet. Later on, as the ship got detached from its mooring and they started to push it out of the dock, I brought the drone back in so that I could do a battery change. By the time I could bring the drone back in and change the battery, the Margaritaville Paradise, which is the name of the ship, was already entering the inlet. The cruisers on board seemed very happy to be on this voyage, and many of them waved to the camera. Suddenly, I lost a signal on my controller. The ship was clearly in sight and moving closer, and although my drone was just a tiny speck, I could still see it by the stern of the ship. I'm not 100% sure what happened, but I'm guessing that perhaps when the ship turned slightly to the right, at the same time I was moving my drone to the left. So the position of my drone changed from right stern to center stern. Given the height I was flying at, it's possible that the antennas and the smokestacks interrupted the transmission. Now, the good thing about my drone is that it is GPS enabled. In addition to that, it also has a feature called Return to Home, which is what it does automatically if the battery is too low or if it loses connection to the controller. In this case, that's exactly what it did. It made a beeline to the position where it was launched from. Unfortunately, that beeline would take it right over the ship. Not good. If you've seen the other cruise ship videos I've posted on my channel, then you would know that I never ever fly over the ship or the passengers on board. There are two main reasons for that. One, it's prohibited under FAA regulations, and two, as much as I trusted my drone, if some part were to fail and my drone should fall from the sky, I would not want it crashing into someone's head or causing superficial cuts or scratches to their body. So I guess you can imagine my horror when the controller re-established connection and I saw my drone flying over the ship. Fortunately, no crash occurred. So why didn't my drone crash into the smokestacks or the bridge of the ship? Well, let's enjoy the departure first, then we'll talk about that later. So before we talk about the crash that never happened, let's talk about my experience in aviation. I do have some experience flying manned aircraft, but I don't have a private license. Not yet, anyway. I do have a license for flying my drone, and I have about 4 years' experience doing that. I'm also a member of the International Virtual Aviation Organization, where I have racked up almost 600 hours of flying time applying real world rules of aviation in a virtual setting. In addition, I've also written and published 2 aviation-themed romance novels, whose links you can find in the description below. So, it is clear that I am not a novice where aviation is concerned, and before my flight I used the necessary tools to make sure that it was safe to fly, and that there were no temporary flight restrictions in the area. So how was I able to avoid crashing into the ship? In addition to the return to home feature, I also had APAS turned on. APAS is an acronym for Advanced Pilot Assistance System. Basically, the system works by using infrared cameras mounted on the front of the drone to detect obstacles in the flight path. Once the obstacle is detected, the drone will calculate a different route and go around or above the obstacle, which is what happened in this case. So at this point, you're probably saying, so there was no danger for crash then? Well, I may have embellished the title of this video a bit, but to say there was no danger would not be true. Those dangers were mitigated by the safety tools and capabilities of my drone, as well as me following the rules and using my flying skills. But the potential dangers were still there. In recent years, a few irresponsible people, mostly teenagers, have done some very wild and potentially dangerous stunts with drones. But those individuals have been the exception, not the rule. In the United States and Canada, all drone operators, be they hobbies or commercial pilots, are required to pass the necessary exam in order to operate a drone. A major part of those exams addresses the matter of safety. The point I want to make here is that drones are here and they're here to stay. Thanks to drones, it has been much easier for utility companies to inspect power lines and address potential issues in a timely manner. First responders have also used drones to track criminals and carry out search and rescue missions for children, the elderly, and lost pets. So drones are not toys. They are tools that, in the hands of a skilled and well-trained person, can do a lot of good. Since aviation in the United States is regulated by the FAA, a drone pilot is considered a pilot just like the pilot of a manned aircraft. Interfering with a drone pilot while he or she is conducting a flight is viewed the same way as attacking an airline pilot and can result in federal felony charges. Shooting down a drone or jamming the signal in order to cause a crash is also a federal crime, and the punishment is 20 years in prison plus a fine. When all was said and done, I was able to conclude the flight that afternoon, and I got some really nice pictures of some of the passengers. If you were on that cruise and you came from out of state, thank you for visiting the beautiful state of Florida, and we hope to see you again soon.